The question is, this is your first time to hear it and my third time to say it. So the question is, what are your summer vacation plans? You don't have to tell us in detail the date and the time you leave, what time you get off work and all that, but let us know what are your summer plans.
If you have any vacation plans.
You're right. And how has that changed when compared to previous years? So a lot's changed. It may be more travel trailer, RV kind of vacations, that kind of thing, because we are in mid-June. Kids, most of them are out of school. We haven't really taken into the year-round school yet. So what are your plans? And if you don't have plans, why don't you make them right now and tell us what you would like to do?
There you go.
Because some of us are so caught up into what's going on that we haven't made plans to reboot our lives and still stay mentally healthy and healthy with our family and that kind of thing. So,
and we are looking literally at a map of the world, and I'm thinking, man, where would I go? Look at that place: Russia and Europe, Asia, Africa, man, Libya. No, I don't want to go to Libya.
Can't go anywhere right now. So. Right. So we're in the studio this time. I don't know if that was before the mute.
Yeah, that was before the mute.
Before the mute.
Yeah, everything's changed. Not only has your vacation plans changed, but our lives have changed for the night anyway.
Yeah, tonight we're in the command center. You see I am in his office. I've got the, you can see his background right here beside me.
Right.
So anyways, we're in his office. That changed about an hour ago whenever I realized I left something at their house that was essential for doing this, putting this on. So
cords.
Exactly. Cables and cords and technology and all this stuff. It's crazy what it takes to put together a live video, so especially with two people. So anyways, what are your vacation plans? I'm seeing the comments come in. We're going to read a few of them.
Right.
Let us know what your vacation plans are this summer. And if you don't have any, go ahead, plan it now. Surprise your wife with what you comment. Surprise your husband that you're doing the surprise trip. Go ahead and let them know right now in the comment section.
I've done that before.
He has.
Several times.
The most memorable for me was Disneyland.
Let me tell the story. Real quick.
I'll correct you when you.
He's sitting beside me, so if I glance over and look at him, it's, I don't know why, but anyway, it's just
details.
Habit. But spring break of 19. Let's see. No, it was later than that. 2005-ish. We were planted the church here in College Station. It's still small, probably 50 people, 40 people, probably 40 people, maybe 30. And we get our refund, our tax refund. And my accountant called, or his assistant called me.
Just before we built the church in a day.
Yeah, right before we built the church in a day. And his assistant called me and said, Mr. Casper, we filed your taxes. And I'm like, okay, great. And I'm got this sinking feeling knowing that I'm fixing to pay taxes. But evidently I had 3 kids and that helped me or something. But anyway, she said, you're getting I forgot now exactly, $3,500 back, or maybe not that much then. It was probably $2,500 back. And I'm like, are you serious? I said, that's a lot of money, And she said, well, yes, sir. I've checked it. And I said, would you please double check it? And I'm in my little, at that point, it was a desk in the corner of a room out there working by myself. And I said, please double check before I tell my wife anything. And so she left, went double check, came back, or she called me back, and she said, Mr. Casper, I was wrong. And my stomach sunk because I knew she was wrong. And there wasn't no way I was going to get $2,500 back, And lo and behold, she said, actually, and she added $200 to it, like $2,700. And I'm like, oh, my word. So I went in, kids got out of school, and, of course, they all walk in, and I told my wife, she was in the kitchen getting ready to do something or whatever. And the kids were all in their rooms and stuff. And I went up to my wife and I said, baby, if you could go anywhere on vacation, where would it be? And in about a half a second, she said, Disney World. And the one in Florida, Disney World. And I said, okay, kids. And I hollered at them and they all come in here. I said, pack up. We're leaving in 45 minutes. And we did. We left in 45 minutes. The next morning, we were in Disney World. That was crazy trip.
We drove all the way there.
That was fun.
And packed in the back of the car.
Yep.
And
old Saturn.
Is that when we lost the dog? Is that the same trip?
No, that was a different trip. That was a trip we went to San Antonio because I had to come back and find the dog.
Right.
Crazy.
Anyway,
lots of neat
a lot of good vacations. So we hope you're taking some vacations. Even find a way to be creative.
Yeah.
There are a lot of opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
If you have previously been involved with this corporate vacation process and you've never gone camping,
oh man,
you're missing out.
You're missing out.
There's a lot to do.
Nothing like
National
mosquitoes,
forest.
Heat. Oh wait, you go up north.
Go up north. Drive up north. Don't do it here.
Arkansas or Missouri or someplace. Don't do it here.
Don't go to Richards, Texas.
Right.
Anyway, so we've got some things. People are going to the beach. Let's see here. San Antonio.
Yeah.
Reservations in January.
Somebody's going to go to church. Wow. That's my kind of answer. Love it.
Somebody made reservations in January, and then obviously they were worried, but they kept their reservation. That's awesome.
Ooh.
Even with a 50% capacity.
Oh, Stephen Emmerich had an Alaskan cruise was canceled. Oh, that breaks my heart. Did you already have it, or are you just wanting to go and they canceled them? I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah, so we hope you're taking vacations.
Yeah,
as always, through this whole process tonight, we're just getting a few minutes into it. We're just kind of chatting as people get logged on. But through the whole process, please comment. We like to see the comments. Keep the conversation going. If you like something we're talking about, why don't you add your input? You all have an opinion for a reason.
No.
You have experience for a reason. So we want to hear about that, and hopefully we'll have time to be able to use that and integrate it into the conversation. Pastor has more of the thought line for tonight, so I'm just going to moderate a little bit, try to rein him in areas here and there, and use the comment section to direct us. So it's going to be a conversation as always. So that's what's happening. Anything else?
No, I think and we're glad you're all here. That's for sure.
And this is
love
Pastor
it,
Talk.
so,
If you didn't know where you're
at. And I don't know. Actually, he probably said it pre-mic time. We're just talking about current events and things that are going on through a Christian worldview, through a Christian perspective. And I pastor a church. Ethan here is my assistant at the church, and we just trying to live for God in a crazy world. But honestly, there is a good way and a bad way to handle the things we're going through. But we can talk about that in a minute.
That's the one thing you can control is how you respond, how you react. So if we can give us some kind of insight, share it, that'll help us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you want me to start off with what I was thinking about today?
Go ahead. Give them the first conversation point, something that they can comment about, and you can start.
I don't know how to do that. Okay, so let me try it. He is much better at the conversational pieces.
You have to word these things in conversational, not like a monologue.
Yeah, I'm a monologue. He's a dialogue.
It's got to be dialogue.
I'm trying. Okay, so I had this thought today, and it was just, and I'll just blame it on God. I don't know for sure, but it just felt like a God moment, one of those things. And I realized that everybody is striving greatly to perfect the world in their image. Think about that for a minute. That blew my mind when I'm sitting, I'm sitting here in my study. I was actually reading my Bible and I realized that everybody's trying to create this perfect image of the world. And I made a quick list. Some of them are, general. I said the Chinese want you to be communist. The Iranians want you to be Muslims. The liberals want you to be a socialist. The conservatives want you to be a capitalist. The Democrats want you to be a liberal. The Republicans want you to be a conservative. And then I made this last comment. The CHOP, we can't figure out what they're wanting.
Chaz, now
it's CHOP. Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill. What does it stand
Autonomous
for?
Zone?
That was Chaz. Now it's occupational.
Yeah, because they got corrected because they realized they can't be self-sufficient and be autonomous. Yeah. They actually have demands from our government.
What CHOP means.
They wouldn't be autonomous if they actually had demands from the government to give them food and all their necessities, apparently.
What does CHOP stand for?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I just heard about it today, really.
But the reason why that came to my mind is because I think the whole time everybody's trying to recreate or create a perfect image of what the world should be, and they're all motivated for that. And the whole time, I think I'm looking at it from pastor perspective. Jesus Christ is just saying, "Come unto me, I'll give you rest." Right. Wow! I told him, I'm like,
counterculture right there.
Yeah, that will preach. And I'm not wanting to preach, but I'm just saying, wow.
Go ahead.
Think about you think about it, and I would just encourage everybody to think. Look around us, and you'll see everybody's got an agenda. But if you're truly following Christ, your agenda's simple. I think live for God, help others find the peace of God, and go to heaven. I mean, it's right. I guess there's some other things in there. We got a lot of things to do, but anyway,
a lot of details
to that. But yeah, that's the way I see it, and I think that we need to be very aware. In fact, I think if we're aware of that, I think it would clarify a lot of the things that are going on in our when we see the news or social media. If we filter everything through that knowledge, I think it would help us a lot.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, a good friend of mine in the church, that I called him because I at church right now how it's kind of restrictive in many ways, and we're limited on time and all these things. And so I called him and told him I just want to check in with him because you see them visually, you see them, but I'm so busy with doing things in the church, and he's getting his family in and out and all these things. And we were just talking, and we got onto the subject of leaning down our lives. Making ourselves more lean, not muscular,
decluttering,
but decluttering, just basically getting rid of the fluff and fat that's not necessary. Yeah. And this is how we've got to be as Christians, to where we've got to realize what are our priorities, get back to the basics, and get lean, because that's what makes you resilient, makes you stronger, makes you be able to bounce back when times change. Because we're dealing with that now, and for many of us, especially 3-4 months ago, when we said, "Oh, okay, this is definitely going to be something different," and Pastor keeps telling us this is going to be a ball game that's going to last many innings, and there's going to be psychological issues, there's going to be physical issues, and all these things that he was telling us 3 months ago, that we're realizing day to day that this is not stopping.
Right,
it's a snowball that just keeps on going and growing. So. Getting lean, that's something that really
I would say that's good. The only thing is, if you get too lean, you're not being the witness you should be.
Well, I think that's part of being lean. I would say that should be the core. That should be part of the core.
Yeah. Speaking of innings, I really think that we're only in third inning, fourth inning. Hate to blow anybody's bubble, but I really do believe that I mean. Day to day, they're liable to come out tomorrow and say, "Hey, we've got a vaccine and it works perfectly." But I don't see that happening. In fact, I will throw this out there, and it's kind of one of the conversation pieces that I wanted to talk about tonight. I hear, and I'm not trying to be anti-agreeable to anybody, but I hear people, and it's multiple people, and it's a constant thing. Let's pray against COVID-19, and I'm sick and tired of COVID-19, and I can't wait to get back to normal. And I think that, just my perspective, I'm looking at Scripture. I think if you pray against it, you're praying against God's will.
Yeah,
I think you're praying against God's will. I think you're praying against prophecy being fulfilled. I think you're butting your head against a wall, because God's not going to change. We know we're in the end time, and I know, of course, we're going to get on other subjects, but I'm talking spiritual stuff first. We know we're in the end time. The fig tree budded, 1948, Israel became a nation. We know we're in that season, and now it's just a matter of the details being fulfilled,
right?
The things coming, and we're in that place where knowledge is increased. We travel to and fro. I told my wife's aunt, who I love very much, she introduced me to my wife, and I love my wife, so I love my wife's aunt. I told her today, I said, the fact is that we are living in the end time, and we just have to be ready for it. And right now, I can travel to England and back in one day. Travel to and fro. That's us. Mm-hmm. All these things are pointing to us. The world, the gospel we preached in the whole world. This video that we're doing right now is going to the whole world. Yeah. I mean, except for a few places, and even then, there's being Bibles and stuff smuggled in. Yeah. So it's just, I think we just need to get used to. We need to be adaptable. Is it adaptable?
Yeah.
Resilient.
Resilient.
We've got to deal with it, because it's for COVID-19, in my perspective, is for the good of mankind in general, if they heed the warnings.
Right. And I like what Jonathan Murphy just put in here. He said some things have to happen.
That's right.
This is exactly we should not expect heaven on earth. And that's what we actually talked about that earlier today. Some people are even Christians.
Who's Jonathan Murphy? I'm playing.
Even Christians are wanting heaven on earth. They're wanting their comfort. They're wanting their peace. They're wanting all these things to happen here. They don't want to struggle. They don't want to have any opposition in any way. And so that's a scary place to be in, really.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable place temporarily, but it's a scary place because you're not really fulfilling what God's called you to do.
Well, and I think if we can adapt to life with COVID-19, you're not going to. It's like I live in a house. I've got however many doors and windows and all that kind of thing, and I have cameras and all that kind of stuff. But I cannot. People are still going to be able to break into my house. And I can guard myself and build up all these guards and do everything. But the chances of me, the only way I'm going to be able to totally insulate myself from COVID-19 is to isolate myself from everybody.
Right, yeah. Build your fortress, your kingdom, your tiny kingdom.
Yeah.
Christopher on here said, living for God is never normal. And it shouldn't be.
Right.
It shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be. In fact, we should at this point be excited about what's going on, really. Because even though we're struggling with certain things, the church, I'm just going to tell you what was it last week? I think we talked about 40%, and I guesstimated, that wasn't a fact. 40% of the church people that were attending church aren't now. They're not going back, and of course that might be a temporary thing. Maybe
this is something that's across the board. Churches from
It's not
every
just
denomination.
No. And the thing is, if it's a time of test, in other words, it's a test time. So you just got to get used to it. And if you don't get used to it, you know what? Let me go to some notes real quick. I said, here we go. I was going to talk later about the second wave of COVID-19, but the World Health Organization and CDC don't believe we're going to have a second wave. It's just a continuation of the first wave, which I totally get, but we can call it what we want to. But our parents and our grandparents, especially our grandparents, they dealt with diseases and things that we can only imagine, like polio, cholera. Do you know, I read today that somewhere between 5 and 10% of New York City died from when cholera hit it. 5 to 10%. And even now it kills 95,000 people a year. So, typhoid, smallpox, these things have come into our lives. Yellow fever. I've got a list. That's the reason why I'm reading it. Whooping cough. These are things that they've disfigured. Polio disfigured you. I remember when I was a kid, of course, I'm not that old, but I do remember when I was a kid where it was not uncommon to see a disfigured person. Now, it's pretty uncommon because we have protected ourselves from so many major diseases and things. I went to Bangladesh and Madagascar. Last year was Madagascar and the year before was Bangladesh. And both places, wow. I'm telling you, it would not surprise me if at least 1 in 10 people was disfigured, maimed, eyes gone, arm gone, things because of, and of course, we don't live in a third world country, but we have really tried well. We've done a good job protecting ourselves from these things. But what are we going to do if a second wave does come? I mean, a major, like a continuation of the first wave or whatever you want to call it, this fall. How are we going to handle it? How are you going to handle it? That's a good question. How will you handle, let's give it a date, October the 1st, is that the beginning of flu season?
Better take your vacation now.
Better be a good one.
Cruise ships not advised.
That's right. No, cruise ships, buses, But yeah, let's just say October the 1st, which I'm just guessing is around the time flu season kicks in, maybe November. But if it did kick in, how would you respond? What would you do? Would you be able financially to hunker down like we did, was it March, April, and May. Is that right? Yeah, March, April, and May. Would you be able to hunker down like that? And what would your response be? That's kind of my question. I think I personally go back to that idea that you're going to have to just learn to live with it. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. And real quick, I'm going to look at these comments here.
Yeah.
Stephanie's been putting scripture in here. I love it. Matthew 26, 51 through 54, where Jesus is about to be arrested. And one of the disciples goes and cuts the ear off of another. And I think, let me go back to it real quick. And the very last scripture, verse 54, says, "But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen in this way?"
That's right.
And so we've got prophecy. There was prophecy that Jesus was going to die on a cross. He was going to be the sacrifice for the world. And how then, if they stopped the arrest at that point, then what good was that?
That's right.
And so kind of like going back to praying against COVID-19.
I don't think it's
Let's
good.
stop it right here. Let's just stop it. Well, is this something that's in God's plan? Is it His will? Then, well, maybe you should let it happen.
I think, and that scripture she referred to, I used it a few weeks ago in teaching, and I mean, Jesus, of course, that's where He said you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. But I just think we're foolish, and I'm not trying to be. I'm nobody. I'm no big name, whatever. But I'm just saying, spiritually, I just don't think that it's healthy for us to pray against God's will. And things have. Who said that? Things have got to unfold.
Right.
What did we expect to happen? I preached a message a few months back. What did we expect to happen? We prayed, "Oh God, shake our world. Bring people back. Bring all the backsliders back. Wake us up." What's going on? And this can't be the ninth inning if God is in charge.
Right. And she also put Matthew 16:23, where she's talking to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan."
Right.
And he
didn't understand.
Do you have a mind of God, basically, or merely just human concerns?
Right.
You have to make up your mind. Are you going to get caught up in the human concerns, whatever it is that this world's flocking to at this moment, or are you going to recognize that God's hand's active right now?
Right. Yeah, you gotta deal with it. I think going on vacation is a good thing. I mean, we just switched a little bit, but anyway, I think going on a vacation is a good thing. I think it's relaxing. You get to enjoy in this setting. You're forced to enjoy nature and not all the junk. I mean, there's things you can do. I'm sure you can. Wyoming and Montana, and there's beautiful places to go see. And I know that a lot of the state parks and national parks are closed, but you can figure a way out. I mean, you can find a way to enjoy all this, and I think it's healthy, it's good.
Probably
make great memories.
There's got to be a biblical argument about
the rest.
Rest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But don't make your vacations without rest. That's a scary thing too.
That's funny that you said that. The rest. You said that. Now I don't know where my notes are. But anyway, my point is this. Today I was studying Ezekiel chapter 4, and it talks about the children of Israel, the people of Israel would go into captivity and they wouldn't be a nation and all that kind of thing. And Ezekiel lays out a timeline that they would not be a nation until, and his timing, and I don't have it. I wrote it parts. I've cryptic in my Bible here. Yeah, Ezekiel 4. Here it is. Where 430 years plus 70 they were in captivity, and Israel, in other words, God laid out a plan for them to rest on Sabbath and then let the land rest, and they ignored that command, and the Lord in Ezekiel 7 says you're going to pay for it. So I think a nice little, you can't stay on vacation. And one of the problems with our social media driven world is we think everybody's on vacation all the time.
They only show the good parts.
Right. So I think that going and resting, finding a week or a few days that you can take off is very, very healthy. And I think you take care of your mind, you take care of your body, you build great memories. You got some good memories, don't you?
Oh yeah.
We lived in North Carolina for 14 months. And every time we would come or go, we would take a different route. And so that was one of those things that was neat.
I think one of my greatest memories is the old motorhome it was very old at the time. But I remember the motorhome.
Poor travel.
Right, the poor travel. Not a Ford travel. The poor
not
travel.
A Ford travel.
But I remember that, and going up to Colorado, and I know at the time our family didn't have any money, but we did have this.
You got the two stories mixed up.
Okay.
We never took the.
Well, where did we go?
We drove up to Durango.
The cabin.
Yes,
That's
free.
It was
a cabin. Listen. It was a cabin with no running water, no electricity. We stayed in it for like a week.
It's like one of those cabins that's on display at one of the like here's 100
but
years,
it was 200
real. Years ago kind of cabins.
But it was real.
That's what it was.
It was real. It was a miner shack.
Lanterns
is what
hanging
it was.
in there.
Literally, it was a miner shack. Had an outhouse and everything. So we stayed there, and then we went into Durango, Colorado, and went to the Bardee Ranch. Remember that?
Yeah.
You had a little leather vest.
I was little.
And we rode the train up to Silverton, and that was a neat vacation. You remember that?
Yeah, very little.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a few years later, I got that poor travel. I don't know what I paid for that thing, but it wasn't worth whatever I paid for it. That's for sure. But anyway, that thing had a 454 engine in it and sucked about 6 miles a gallon. It was horrible. What are we on? What topic are we on? I forgot. My goodness. Yeah.
Chris made a great comment in there. Just, man, and it's hard to read all of it, but talking about we got to have faith. And he's talking about a lens. We have to choose which lens we look through, whether it's going to be the lens of the world, which is the media that they put in front of you, or is it going to be a biblical lens? Mm-hmm. And we've got to do that. That's probably the healthiest thing you can do is have a biblical lens. You will lose your mind in this world, especially with the things that we're dealing with right now. You can get depressed watching the news, and that may be their point. I don't know, but it's crazy to see what media is putting out right now and the bias and from all sides. So.
I'm getting my Bible, my electronic. I got my paper Bible here, but I don't want to change the page because I lose stuff. But the Bible, I've read this so many times, at least a dozen times since all this started happening. But the Bible says all these things are going to happen. And let's see here. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Like I said Sunday, that nation against nation, that is race against race. The original Hebrew or Greek word is ethnos, ethnos, with ethnicity. It means race against race. The next phrase, kingdom against kingdom, means literally America against China or whatever. But it says there'll be famines, earthquakes, many parts. But all of this is just, and the New Living Translation says birth pains with more to come. And it says, don't worry.
Right.
Don't worry.
So it's exciting times we live in.
Yes, it is. It sure is. So anyway, did anybody respond to what would happen if you had to go through a second wave this fall? Did anybody say anything?
I think they will now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would happen? Do you think, obviously, I would think many of them would be more prepared, I would hope. Or are you in one of those that are in denial that it could never happen because we don't want it to happen? Because right now our world is, if I want it to be this way, then it'll happen. If I don't want it, then it won't. And so it's just all about our feelings right now, apparently. Yeah,
and like I said, we can protect ourselves. We think rephrase it. We think we can protect ourselves, but in reality, we are very... I mean, you would have to just one visit to a grocery store, and you could be exposed. So you think you're guarding yourself, and I do suggest you wear your seatbelt and wear a life jacket and wear a mask. I really, really do. I mean, I'm serious when I say that. I think it's healthy and it's fine to wear a mask. My wife FaceTimed me today from HEB, and I'm like, who is that? It was my wife with a mask on. So. I think that's good.
Masked bandit.
Yeah, masked bandit. I said, what you robbing? So, but I think you just gotta, you've gotta, suit up. I don't know how to express it really. I'm trying to think of a right way to say it. I think you just, if you're scared of a wreck, you won't drive if you don't handle that fear in the right way. But if you manage your fear and take proper precautions, you'll drive, you'll accomplish things, you'll go see things, you'll go take care of business, but you'll wear a seatbelt. And it's the same thing with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Just got to deal with it in the mindset that I've got to protect myself as much as I can, but not live in fear.
Yeah. Life is risk management. You wouldn't get out of bed
That's true.
if you couldn't manage
Very
risk.
true.
And so,
Very, very, very
keep
true.
your head together.
So let's talk about some of the things happening this week. We're kind of, it looks like we're kind of through the riots, kind of.
I don't know.
I mean, we had some Sunday, and they said that they're going to be back out there every week until something changes. But what they really mean is not until something changes, but until things are the way they want them to be.
Heaven on earth.
Heaven on earth. That's when I go back to the opening topic. Yeah, let's make it the way I want it to be. And if it's not the way I want it to be, I'm going to be, what do they call that, a Karen? Is that what they said? Or they call
Oh,
it
yeah. Karen.
I don't know.
Karen culture.
Yeah, the Karen culture. Karen.
And Karen bags, we're not talking about you.
I didn't know she's on there. Sorry.
This is the Karen that has the Karen haircut that wants to talk to the manager because something's wrong and she has to resolve that issue right away. That's the Karen that we're talking about.
Yeah. Make a big deal out of everything. It's got to be about her. That's what it's about. So, but anyway, that. I think we've got that culture. In fact, I think we're having a kind of a cultural revolution right now, similar to the, what was it, 65 to 60, 62 to 70, right in there, 72, the hippie revolution, whatever it is. I got to get a drink. But I think we're going to see that more and more. But another thing we saw this week is the cyber attacks. Did anybody lose phone service yesterday all day or most of the day?
T-Mobile, which I think they have said it affected all the carriers for the most part.
Yeah. I think overall there was 80% of phone traffic that did not make it yesterday, and I think text could get through about 70% of the time, so about 30% of the texts were affected. And then I think Wi-Fi was even higher.
So you have an excuse for not answering those people that have been calling you.
Right. Except for me, no excuse.
DDoS.
Yes.
That stands for...
Yeah, I forgot.
I forget.
Basically what they do, the synopsis of it is, and I forgot what DDoS stands for. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It basically, what happens is cyber warfare, they overwhelm the system with what they call pings and requests. So
distributed denial of service.
There you go. And I looked on the map, and I forgot I don't have the address with me, but there is a map that you can look at and see where all these requests are coming from. Everywhere in the world, they were all bombarding the American cellular system. And we were talking earlier today that is a tool for other countries to use against us. Here we are trying to recover. We're trying to, get life, quote unquote,
businesses
back to normal.
On cell phones now.
Right. Oh, yes.
Our internet. Our calls.
Most of our
productivity
payments
is through our cell phone coverage.
Payments.
Oh yeah.
And not only that, but I mean, then you go to just plain old internet service. I say plain old internet service. I can't even explain it, but it controls our water system, our power system, our phone system.
So it's exposed some vulnerabilities, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if they could have taken us down on the cellular network, can you imagine what the economy, how that would have been affected?
And who knows who it's from, because it's easy. It has a lot of deniability because no one really knows. It could be Iran, could be China, could be anybody. Right. So,
yeah, you said earlier today, Iran has 100,000 cyber soldiers. Isn't that crazy?
They claim.
Yeah, that's what they say. But, Israel has cyber soldiers as well. Israel has counterintelligence or counter cyber soldiers. And, in fact, I won't get much into it because I can't even go to the information base. But I did watch a video, and it's on YouTube, where it talks about Israel has an basically a division of soldiers that all they do, they get the brightest and the smartest and keep them employed defending Israel's power system, but water, phones, everything. But I'm sure that America has the same thing. I'm 99.9% sure we have that same cyber soldier, system.
And we're about to have space soldiers.
Yes, we are. Space
Force.
So I think one of the things that we are experiencing, and in fact, I wrote this down earlier today. America is truly being bombarded inside and out, internally by politics and the different things that are happening. And before anybody even thinks it, I'll go ahead and tell you, I despise racism. I despise it. None of us picked our DNA. We are who we are, and by God, and we're supposed to be happy with that, and not only be happy with ourselves, but happy with others that God made them different.
He didn't make any mistakes.
No, he didn't. I mean, you would think sometimes, you would think, oh, he didn't do me this way, he didn't do me that way, but that's not true. But my point is, we've got all these this cultural revolution that I spoke of. Then you have espionage. What was it? 185 professors that they have found have been employed by that Wuhan University now, I think it is, or something like that. Might be off a little bit, but
it could be part of the 1,000 Talents program of China, the CCP, Chinese Communist Party.
They've been paid. We have professors, and I think it was today on the news. We have professors, 185 professors already that they've found are being paid by the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and
they're probably not getting paid for nothing. This isn't free.
Yeah, right. They're not wanting them just to represent the beauty of CCP. No, they've got an agenda. And so we're being bombarded, and not only that, but you've got, Iran. We could make up a long list of people that don't like us. Then we have these internal battles. But really, the biggest bombardment, I'm going to go back to a kind of a spiritual context here. The biggest bombardment we're having right now, it's a spiritual war, man.
Yes,
I'm telling you, it's a spiritual war.
You gotta wake up.
And I see people that are, and in fact, I'm going to be teaching tomorrow night about this stuff, so I got to be careful. I can't let any cats out of the bag or any secrets, But I see people that are falling. They're gullible. They're not realizing what they're going through and why, and they're trying to fight it in a physical sense. It's doing no good. Zero. Doctors can't help them. Lawyers can't help them. It's because it's a spiritual battle, and the only way to fix it is spiritual. And there is, in fact, that's on a personal level, on a world level, on a global level. The only thing that's going to fix it is when God comes back.
Right.
That's it.
And if you're ever going to get spiritually fit, now's the time.
Oh, yeah. In fact, if I wasn't spiritually fit, I would be fearful.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be scared.
Yeah. You wouldn't go back to church.
Yeah. No, I mean the other way, feared. I'd be running to the church. You almost snuck that one by me. If I wasn't spiritually right, I would be running to the church. Is exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be literally. We are so distracted. Is binge watching and social media and all the stuff. And I like social media. I'm on it right now, but it's like, how much time do we read, or how much time do we pray? How much time do we, and I know you got to spend time in working and all the other things with family. And man, I'll tell you what, you're at an age, you're what, 30? 29.
29.
You'll be 30 this year. You're at an age where it's like constantly busy. It's hard to find time.
All day.
Yeah. Because you got one baby. Wait till you get 3.
And if you want to get really exhausted, you scroll through Facebook.
You get angry.
Really?
Depressed.
Emotionally.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like that stuff, just personally. And y'all probably see me on there periodically, but anyway.
You'll see him every week or two, and he likes everything.
Yeah.
For the past month.
I like my own comments, and either Ethan or Camille will call me up, Dad.
Usually Camille. You
liked something, and I'm like, well, what do you mean I liked it? I did that. And he goes, no, you did it wrong. And I'm like, oh, man. So, good grief. But anyway.
We need some social media etiquette classes.
It's not etiquette. I've got the etiquette. I just don't know how it works some of them. Oh, man. It is funny. But, yeah, this social media sometimes drive you crazy, especially because you're only seeing a snapshot of everybody's life and it's only the snapshot they want you to see.
Some want pity, so they put the most depressing things up there.
Their identity's wrapped up in it. That's true, though. They really are.
What's the next topic that they can comment about before we get to it?
Oh, man, the 3 Ps of problems. This is something I memorized a long time ago, and I memorized it when I was in school a while back. I forget how long, but anyway. 3 Ps of problems. Everybody got problems. Anybody got any problems? You want to share them? Share them with us tonight.
In the comment section, just fill it up. All your problems.
Tell us your problems.
This is going to be interesting.
This is kind of a
tissue box at you.
This is kind of a killer topic because it's like you popping the balloon or whatever. The 3 Ps of personal problems. Yeah, I just said that. The 3 Ps of personal problems, and I memorized this, and I think it's probably in like Psychology 101 or something, basic psychology, but it just put such an impression on me. And I began to guard myself from those 3 Ps, trying to. Of course, we're all gullible and none of us are perfect, so we fail at times. But let me put it in the order. Personalization, we personalize our problems. In other words, it's my problems worse than everybody else's. My problems. No one else has a problem like my problem. So we personalize our problems. We bring them in and we make them about us. I'm not going to get into it now, but there's some more stuff about that. But anyway, and then the next one is permanence. It's like when we have a problem, it's going to change everything forever. It's going to change everything forever. It's a big problem.
It's going to ripple through my entire life.
Right. It will always be this way, and I've just, And then the 3rd P is pervasiveness, and that is actually kind of a blend of what I just said. It affects everything.
Right.
Everything. So those three characteristics, if we're not careful, thankfully, some people have a natural ability to guard themselves from those the 3 Ps, and that's awesome. If you have that, it's not natural, by the way. Typically, it's your mama beat it into you. Mm-hmm. Your mama, it's like you see these kids that are. I'm going to tell you what my wife taught our kids. You see these kids at Walmart and they're screaming and crying, but I want it, mama. And they're on the floor and they're screaming and crying. You know what? Best thing to do is just walk away. Just leave them, let them cry and act like an idiot, and you go on to the other side of the store and let them fear where you went. Because they'll grow up real quick because they'll realize it doesn't make a difference, me crying and whining. Some people are taught like that. My wife, I'm telling about my wife because she's a mama. My wife told my son when he went to the military, you go in the military, you come back, and she meant it. She said, you go to basic training, if you come back with a tattoo, I will scrape it off with a rock.
I didn't get a tattoo, by the way.
He didn't get a tattoo. But so anyway, some people have been taught because their parents were very intentional, and I would say that is very, very important. Our parents, if you're a parent out there, you've got to be very intentional about raising your kids up strong, because you don't want them to fall victim to the 3 Ps. Because the 3 Ps bring victimhood.
Right.
It creates an environment where you're a victim. You're always a victim. And you'll always be a victim. And you're always going to have a problem. And you're always going to have an issue. And nobody else understands. And that is actually
your identity.
It does. It becomes your crutch and your identity. And it's just a horrible. I'm not looking at the comments yet. I guess I probably need to, because it's probably.
Well, they need to get a little more active in the comments section. I don't know. They're probably listening real attentively. But I'm growing up. I don't know when it was that I was told this, or instilled in this was view problems, what we all call problems, as challenges, temporary challenges. Everything, for the most part, can be overcome. Person lose their leg, they got a prosthetic. It's just, there's always a way to use
adapt and overcome
issue, that challenge, to actually motivate you and motivate others and move forward.
Right.
And so it can either halt you and push you back, or it can actually propel you.
It's the phrase adapt and overcome.
Right.
I said 2 Sundays ago, I don't remember when I said it. I say stuff. I'm always talking, so I got to be careful when I say stuff. But I believe one of the things that I've learned over the years, and that's in business, in pastoring a church and starting the church, raising kids, being married, if one of the greatest things that I think I've ever learned is that, number one, problems are going to come along, but when they do, just move on. When you get through that problem, keep moving. If you're in the middle of a problem, keep moving. Don't let a problem stop you, because that is a horrible, horrible way to end a battle. And that really is what it is. It's a battle. And of course, you got many battles that encompass the war of your life. And if you don't win that battle, you're going to have health issues. I was thinking the other day, something else came up and it prompted me to think about it. When I was, I think I was 17, my senior year of high school, spring break, I went to go put a calf in the fence and was riding a three-wheeler. Anybody knows what they are? Death machines. But anyway, but I was riding a three-wheeler along the farm market road and hit the culvert and flipped the three-wheeler into the barbed wire, broke it in half. In fact, from what I heard, I wasn't cognizant enough to know what happened. But the peg on the foot thing went through my calf, tore my calf out. And, you're missing a big old piece of tendon in your calf. And my leg was straight, I went toe down. And, they didn't have this, they didn't give me the option of, hey, we're going to put you a pig tendon in there, or we're going to put you a cadaver tendon. They didn't do any of that back then. And they just said, well, what we suggest, and we did it, just keep pushing down, put weight on your lay down, sleep face down with a weight on your toe, pull that, and just keep doing all these exercises. And that's really a synopsis of dealing with our problems. You're going to have problems.
Yeah. And you've got to have a goal. And I think you've got to have a purpose. And that's one thing.
You got to have an end goal.
Jordan Peterson, a philosopher, writer,
I like him.
He said, find the biggest thing you can carry and carry it. Whether that be a degree in higher education, whether that be building a business, whatever that may be, you carry that heavy thing and you have purpose. And for us right now as Christians, that is doing and fulfilling the will of God. So there's a lot of opportunities there of carrying heavy things, doing hard things.
That's good.
And Pastor just got his diploma in today. He got his master's degree. So really cool.
Is that a diploma or a degree?
I don't know.
I need to read it.
I'm not that educated.
I'm not sure. I think it's a degree. I think a diploma is when you graduate high school. I'm not sure. But anyway, I just got my master's degree in today in the mail, which is kind of weird, but kind of cool too.
Right. But pick it up, whatever that is. Find some purpose.
My mom, your grandmama, she used to say, you want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about.
Right. Angie Krager said, do hard things. That's something I actually had written.
That's a book.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
I had it written on my desk because while I'm in school, it's so aggravating sometimes. You want to quit. You want to throw in the towel. But you know what? Do hard things. You're going to look back and be glad you did it. Your kids are going to be proud of you. All this effect that's going to come in your life by going a little bit further, doing a little more. It's a degree, carrying bags.
I think it's a degree. Is that what she said?
Yes.
I thought it was. I think it is a mindset, though, and that's really what we as Christians need to be aiming for, is to get our mind in the same frame. Let this mind be also in you that was in Christ Jesus. That I've got, and you said this, I've got a goal. His goal was the cross, but not just the cross. Salvation plan for the world, okay? Options. He wanted to give people options. At that point, all they did was fear death and were stuck in a system that they couldn't get out of. Jesus came to bring options. And we have these options, but he had a goal, and then he had to walk through that goal no matter what was happening, whether people were telling on him, lying about him, spitting at him, or falling at his feet and loving him.
Right. Every dynamic.
You got to go. You got to just keep going. Push through. Press on. And
while the apostles wanted him to stay there.
Right.
It's hard because that's how we live.
That's right. That's why Peter said,
we find a high place and we want to stay
Jesus.
there. Yeah. And it's bad because it always goes back down.
Yeah, that's why Jesus told Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan," because you don't. In fact, the next phrase is, "You don't understand my plans."
Right.
I paraphrase that.
You're inhibiting progress.
Right.
Which seems like a degress, but it's progress.
So did anybody say where else they was going on vacation? Did I miss anything?
Oh yeah,
I've not been watching this.
That was earlier.
No,
I think someone said get a job. That was good.
Oh yeah. Hey, Colton Murray, dude, hadn't seen you in a while. Glad you're watching.
We're glad all you guys are watching. This is a good time. We do this every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. We log on, and we usually actually log on about 5 minutes early, talk for a little bit, and get the comment section going. And
Carly Jenkins is watching. Woo! Man, does your husband know you're watching? Anyway, just playing. Glad you're here, girl. It's good to have all of you here. And I pray that we are blessing you. I, as a pastor, and this is called Pastor Talk, but as a pastor, I have just a few simple goals for you that I try to exhibit. Number one, I want to challenge you to be a better man or woman, a better mother or father. To improve your life. But I also want to challenge you to get through whatever issues that come up. And we all have issues. All of us have issues. I have made up my mind. In fact, one of the reasons why I really don't want my wife putting this thing on Facebook is I don't even like telling anybody about my issues. None. I don't want anybody to know any of my issues, even when I have a headache. And I mean that. I know it sounds crazy.
What do you mean by this thing on Facebook?
My degree.
He's talking about his degree.
Yeah. I feel like.
Issue, apparently.
What did you say?
I said it's an issue, apparently.
It is. It's an issue for me because I don't like to display. I think it's good. It's healthy to congratulate people and all that, and maybe it's a personal thing with me, but I don't like to display all of my ailments and all my frailties and all of my weaknesses because I think that you make yourself, you weaken your mind when you. Never mind. I'm saying too much.
There's value in vulnerability, but also you don't want to become a victim.
Yes.
And put on this victim mentality that Stephanie Comforter put on here earlier.
Yeah.
And there's some things that should be private. That's another thing that we could talk about in another episode.
Yeah.
There's some things that should remain private.
Yeah.
Things for your family.
Yeah.
Vacations, they can be private.
They sure can.
You can make memories together.
I mean, really,
it's possible.
You can take pictures without telling everybody, showing everybody. It's crazy. It is. You can do that.
Right.
I mean, Apple might know about it or Samsung might know about it, but everybody in the rest of the world don't have to know about it. But it's just one of those things that I don't even tell people when I have a headache. I just one of those things. It's personal. Maybe it's just a weird personal thing. But I just don't think that I want to just everybody to know all of my business. And then you make yourself vulnerable. You make yourself. And again, I'm being a little bit over the top, but I like to be vulnerable with my wife, of course. But I just don't think that it's a healthy thing that we walk around with a camera and a microphone.
Self-loathing or pity.
Yeah. Everything's wrong with me. Because everybody's got problems. Everybody. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, there is a lot of people with other problems that are much, much, much worse than my headache. That brings me to a memory, and I'm going to throw it in there real quick. I remember, and I wished I could find it because I would love to see it. It was a picture of a house on a hillside. And in my mind, it was a little bit of a hill and maybe something in the background, skies or whatever. And the house was burnt to the ground. And there was a big piece of plywood that was also burnt. And somebody had spray painted, finally, no termites on that sign. And I thought, man, what a mindset. I want to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I guess.
I don't want my house burned down, but I want that mindset of, moving
on.
Yeah, let's move on. And it was during one of the California wildfires. I do remember that. But it said finally no termites, and I thought, man, that's crazy. But the end of the story, the people that was writing the report went to that house, talked to the people. What did you put that out there for? And he said and this is his story, not mine, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, and then I'm trying to remember all the details, but basically his wife got cancer and died. His son committed suicide, and their house burned down, all within like a year and a half or two time period. And he said, his words were, you got to find some joy somewhere or something like that.
Right. We got some good comments coming in. Dana Mears, I don't like to glorify my problems. I agree with you. And I'm a believer that, and I'm still young, this may change.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, my opinion may change in time, but I'm a firm believer that everything we say has a purpose or has an intention. So if I'm going to complain, I'm trying to get something out of it. I'm trying to get pity. I'm trying to whatever. Or if I'm going to inform, maybe it's solely to inform. There are purposes for what I type. There's purpose for what I say.
Everything.
There's no idle words that come out.
None. Zero. You're taking my message tomorrow. Every word, when you confess, we confess with our mouth. We confess, we declare. It's a declaration of what I believe. You better watch your words, because what you believe also doesn't just come from the heart, but it captures your mind, and it feeds into the plan. That literally, it feeds into Satan's plan. He can't harm you physically, so he plants thoughts. And those thoughts, when they're verbalized, they become issues. Right. They become problems. That's literally my message tomorrow night. Those of you that aren't going to be there. Those you are going to get there, you get two of them. But anyway, that's exactly, it's a spiritual warfare that we're in. And who said that? Daniel who?
No, Dana, your sister.
Oh, Dana. Oh, Dana Mears. I thought you said Daniel Myers.
Oh, no. Man, it's hard to keep up with all the comments. They're all coming in.
My sister's smart. She's like me. She took after me. Okay. All right. Well, we got a few.
It's 8:54.
Yeah, we got to go. All right. Love y'all. I love you, but love you.
This week,
I'm thankful for you.
This week, what are you going to do? What's your plans? What's your heavy thing? We'll say that. What is your heavy thing? What are you picking up? What are you going to challenge yourself with? What are you going to carry as a purpose this week?
I got a thought, too.
While you type that in, he's got something.
I got a challenge for you. I want you to think. Think through, if you will. What? And I'm not trying to give fear. Fear is not the plan. Conquering is the plan. But what will you do this week to prepare for a second wave? Or again, I'm not going to call it a second wave. It's really
inning number 4. Yeah,
inning number 4. What will you do this week that will help you not be a victim, not be the weak link in the chain, to not be, that weak person, that you can be stronger? What can you do this week to prepare for November, a bad November? I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know that it's coming, but we're getting a lot of alarms, red flags, orange flags, whatever you want to call it. We're getting a lot of those alarms going off medically, research, and I'm telling you now, I don't think they're going to, in fact, I'm going to say it. I do not think they're going to shut down the economy again. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to keep you from work. But what can you start using your mind and going, now what was your challenge?
What is the heavy thing
that
they will be picking up this week? If you had not have a purpose before, many of you already had a purpose. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you've been working on a business on the side, your side hustle, whatever that is. What heavy thing are you going to pursue with purpose? Because we don't want to be sitting around at home all day, or when you get off, or all you do is you go and I'm relaxing, but really, sadly, you're not really relaxed by the end of it, because you're anxious, you've got anxiety, you've got all this stuff of seeing other people do things. It's depressing in some ways. Some people's means of relaxation does not end with relaxation.
And I think another thing we ought to tell people to do is do plan now. Go ahead and start planning now to take, if you can afford a 3-day camping trip or a 5-day camping trip, or one thing that my wife and I have talked about for years, years and years and years, or I have, she don't like traveling, but I do, is I would love to go to Yellowstone, and I also go to Yosemite. I'd love to go there. But that's, going to Yellowstone would be about a 8-day trip, because it takes 2 or 3 days to get up there. But
That's 8 days without hearing from other people, though.
Pretty cool.
Look at it that way.
Might need to think about it. Camping trip, anything like that. Just think about it because, but don't just think. Plan and do, because your family. That trip to Colorado, that trip to what was it? Disney World. I'm trying to think. The trip in the poor travel. That was so funny. Wow. We've gone all kinds of crazy places. We went to Dollywood one time. Dog Patch USA back in the day when they was alive. Oh, man. Great things, great memories. But they only come when you plan, when you are intentional about living. So anyway, I'll let you close.
Right. Have a purpose. So we've talked about several good things tonight, interesting things. I'm glad the comment section was going. We have nearly 90 comments at this point. It was exciting.
Go back and listen.
You guys joined the conversation.
Yeah.
Go back and listen. We're going to post this on our YouTube page. So if you go on YouTube and you type in Victory Church College Station, we're right there.
It'll pop up.
Go ahead and subscribe to us. Like it. Do whatever you can.
Please.
And then also we want you to go to our website. This is a great source for you. If you've never been to Victory Church, you're interested and you want to see what we're all about, go to victoryupc.com, because this is a community that was started in 2001 by a pastor right here, the one and only. And we've all done it together. And,
yes.
And that's
I'm totally kidding. It's not about me. We all done it together. Oops. Yes, we did.
But God has been gracious.
Yep. Yes, God has been amazing. Oh, my word. I was just acting funny a while ago. God has been good. I was going to say this. The likes, the shares, all that kind of stuff changes the algorithm. And if you love, I've said this a few times, a few weeks now. If you love the truth, like our church. Because what we're saying to people is the truth. And it needs to get out. And the only way it gets out is when you like it, share it, comment, promote it, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Right. And while you're at our YouTube channel, make sure you go check out some of Pastor's sermons. We post all of them there. Mm-hmm. And quality is slowly but steadily improving.
Yeah.
We've gotten better internet, which it was not doing so good this Sunday. We're going to get better. We're getting better equipment, all these things. So if you do want to donate to those things, you can do that at our website, victoryupc.com.
We got an app.
And we even have an app. Woo-hoo! So if you type in Victory Church College Station in your app store, you can download that. So several exciting ways to connect with us. And again, thank you all for joining us. I'm seeing Brother Salazar even commented. Woohoo! We love you, Brother Pastor Salazar. So anyways, God bless you. You have a great night. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 8 o'clock.
God bless y'all.